Ready to go? Good evening. Welcome to the October 7th, 2024 Ware Board of Selectmen meeting. The board convened at 6:31 p.m. for a non-public session under RSA 91A3, Roman numeral 2B, to conduct personnel interviews. If you'll please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Anyone for public comment?
Frank Campana. I have this scripted, but still, you may have to cut me short. My public comment is, as of your meeting of September 23rd of this year, the police chief was here, and one of his proposals to you folks was to change the graphics on the cars to black on black. I looked at the YouTube at that, and Chief Moore said, look at car 1, which is his command car. He did not identify it as that. Black on black. A lot of positive comments on car 1. My comment to you folks, maybe those comments are derived from people that are maybe in the chief's pocket. I do not know that. Chief Moore, the charges, the graphics on the charges are fading due to color. Fine, acceptable. Chief Moore, graphics on car 1, again, won't fade. Again, black on black, no color. My comment to you is maybe we need cars with white on black, simple and perhaps less expensive. Chief Moore states, car 1, very reflective, very visible. My comment to you, really, how visible can black on black be? Defies logic to me. Chief Moore states, again, nothing but positive comments. Chief Moore states $400 in savings with black on black over the color, the color scheme. That's great, but he says $400 savings with black on black over color goes into the general fund, back to taxpayers. My comment to you, how can he confirm that? I thought it was the Board of Selectmen that decided what, if any, money goes from the general fund, goes back to taxpayers. Selectman Matthews, sorry, asked the question, does this marking meet the definition of a fully marked vehicle? Chief Moore responds, he would say yes. My comment to you folks, of course he would say that. That's what he's looking for. Chief Moore, it's just how much visibility, speaking to you folks, it's just how much visibility you want on a cruiser. Well, to the board, how much visibility do you want on a cruiser? Chief Moore, if he had his way, he would have black graphics on all vehicles. It looks awesome, he said. Well, really? How can you tell in the dark? Chief Moore, when lights shine on it, it's the flashlight. Well, again, what lights shine on it at this time of the night when you're pulling somebody over? So, to the board, I'd like to have you think this before you make, this type of decision. Black on black, in my opinion, black on black is nothing more than a police department looking to play hide and sneak with the public. I asked the board to look at the PD cruises, the police department cruises, and their markings on local or national news. How many are clearly marked or black on black? Even black cars have white letters. So my question to you folks, What does the Board of Selectmen, what do you want for wear and for the public? Black on black can possibly encourage police impersonators. These folks that perpetrate that kind of stuff, they say, go to wear. No one will know the difference between the real or the fake, referring to the cars. So again, to the board, what do you want for wear and the public?
Thank you, Frank.
Ricky Hippler, Quaker Street, you know why I'm here.
Please.
Fire
tell us.
department hiring again. Are we doing anything with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are.
You guys can you tell me the plan, or?
We had a non-public earlier this evening and interviewed one person that we'll be confirming later this
About the
evening.
reaffirms, I guess is my point.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yeah. Thank you for following up.
Just to reduce the liability of the town, that's all.
No, I understand.
Reduce liability
I
of the
appreciate
town,
that.
so.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, move on to department head committee items. Chief Moore, you're up.
Thank you. First topic, police graphics. Mr. Campaign actually did just bring up a good point, police impersonators. This would be a fully marked vehicle. It does have police markings on all sides. My actual preference would be gray vehicles with black markings. We can't get gray vehicles. We get what the manufacturer gives the state, which are typically black vehicles. All white graphics would be the same amount. They're all color, I believe. I don't know if he uses more color where all white would drive up the price. But there's no difference in reflectivity between the black graphics and the graphics on the patrol vehicles. When we had our open house, we had probably 20-ish people there throughout the day. Everyone thought the black on black looked great. One person, even though they thought the black on black looked great, they preferred the fully colored. That's no way an official survey, just feedback I asked since I showed people the vehicle. But it's up to the board. You guys represent the public. We're fine with it either way. Since we had 4, we can go with the colored graphics or the black graphics to save money. It's either, accountability, transparency, or saving a little bit of money.
And you need an answer fairly quickly because
I do. We can, so we're in the process of upfitting 4. We're waiting on one part, seeing as how 2 went down. We're short vehicles, so the sooner we can get that on the street, the better. We wouldn't put it on the street without the graphics. We're looking to get the graphics completed before we send it back to Ospey Mountain for the last part to get installed, and then it's ready to go hit on patrol.
Okay, all right. Board discussion, any questions for the chief on graphics?
I guess, yeah, not maybe a statement into a question. I think I'm with the guy who prefers color.
Yeah,
for looks.
that's fine.
I think there's also merit to the point of visibility, versus reflectivity. But then, kind of looking at this picture, it made me wonder: is it actually beneficial anyway to have, since this is a command vehicle,
Mhm.
is it beneficial to have it distinct from the non-command vehicles?
You mean different?
Yeah.
That's a take-home. So it's to reduce visibility at my
Well,
residence.
I mean, like, hey, we are at the scene, where's the command vehicle? Oh, it's the one with that marking, versus have all of them look the same.
So there's a different marking system we use. They're not going to necessarily look at their vehicle. There's flags we put out. You ever seen like at a business, they put out like the 12-foot banners?
Sure.
We're in the process of getting those. One would be staging, one would be command. So we are addressing that.
You're gonna be the little guy that does the wave.
No little guy doing the wave. It's just a pole you stick in the ground with a big banner and says command, and then staging. There's like 4 different flags, and they were pretty reasonably priced. So I am looking at getting those just for that purpose.
Yeah, I did go down and saw the reflectiveness of the graphics the night of the Coffee and Cops. And yeah, I was actually surprised how reflective it was. And I didn't think it would be as visible as it is. I'm not sure that I still don't prefer the color, but I was pleasantly surprised with the graphics itself.
Anything?
No, I know that they're plenty reflective at night. I will agree that they reflect just as well as the color. I still prefer the color. I think the town seal, you know, you can't, when it's this color, you don't really get the gist of what the town seal is supposed to be, really. It's a nice town seal, I think, compared to some. So I just soon have the color. I didn't know that there's something at this board level. I kinda thought the departments could kinda letter how they wanted, but if I'm taking a vote, I just soon have the color, I suppose.
Yeah, I was just, I was deferring this to the board since
Yep.
you guys represent the public, and I know this is kind of a,
I appreciate it.
I do think it's
Yeah.
a care about of the public, so I appreciate you doing that. I also appreciate you trying to save the taxpayers' money. I know that, you know, there's every day your department, as all the departments are trying to do that and bringing options forward. You know, sometimes we take them, sometimes we don't, so.
no problem.
I know it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things, $400 per vehicle, but it's still a savings to go with the black on black. You know, at night, you're not gonna see the color anyway, you're just gonna see whatever reflected. I do know that Dunbarton just says police and doesn't even tell you that it's Dunbarton. So you don't even know, in that respect, you don't know which town is pulling you over, you just have to kind of assume with them.
All right, so if we decide to go with the color, I don't think we need a motion.
No, it's already in the budget, it's already approved by the voters, because that's what the warrant article was for, so we can just continue with the direction we were going.
So I
Appreciate
guess
the input.
I'll ask if anybody wants to make a motion to go with the black on black. All right, there we go. Color it is.
Color it is. All right, so next topic is a bit of bad news with two-way communication. So back in April, they sent us several invoices for the 4 tower sites. Based on how these are ARPA funds, which was clearly communicated to them, we were trying to assess what this project would cost repeatedly. I sent them an email asking for the costs. They sent me an overview. I believe those costs were portrayed in that email on the invoices which we paid, which were over $200,000. In June, I got 2 additional invoices for the tower sites for $10,000 each site, total of $20,000. Again, I thought we had just went through this. I contacted them. Why am I getting these? I thought I asked for all invoices so we could completely account for your project costs. They sent us the invoices. I thought we had figured everything. Today I got a $2,500 invoice for an FCC license. So I went to Beth to go pay that. I contacted Sergeant Montplaisir to raise a little bit of heck with two-way. Why wasn't this previously accounted for? They responded with an email stating that, well, here's the remainder of the cost we have, and it's quite significant. It is what we had in the projected ARPA surplus proposals. I don't have an exact number because Beth is working on that number and two-way is going to be working on that number. It won't cause any extra funds to be raised by the taxpayer, but we're probably going to have to cancel projects that were previously approved. So that's where we're at with that. Are there any questions about that at this point? It'll, obviously, once we get the final numbers, as soon as I get them, I'll brief the board. It is significant. I'm already looking at canceling all my projects, which will be a big portion of that. So, just to brief you on where we're at with that.
Will these be the final numbers?
Yeah, the response I got was, well, Chief, I thought you were just talking about open invoices, not what we have left to invoice you for. Which just amazed me, since we've been talking about, these were ARPA funds, they had to be accounted for because we were intentionally moving on to additional projects and we had to know what their project costs. So it just, it amazed me on the response. So that's where we're at with that. We'll be moving forward and I'll get the board information as soon as we can.
So at this point in time tonight, do we need to put a hold on everything that we've
Not-
done?
Not
Or
necessarily.
just
I'll
your
tell you
projects?
The direction I'm gonna go, and this is kind of a question I asked. Since we've already put these projects, out to bid, like one so for instance, on the water system, I'm gonna put it as a warrant article rather than ARPA funding. So, since we've already put it out to bid, if I get approval to go forward with that, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to put it out to warrant article. We don't have to put it out to bid again and take bids. We already know who our vendor is gonna be, since we've already put it out to bid, gone through the fiscal process. Is that how that works, or would we have to go put it out to bid again? I'm not sure, that popped in my head.
I think it depends if they'd honor the bid or not.
If they what?
If they'd honor the bid.
Yeah, oh, sure, sure. Yeah, and I'll have that conversation with them tomorrow, but for one bid, on the water system to fix that, like I said, I'm gonna put it out to, and I guess we can make that decision next time too. I don't know if you wanna, what the correct process would be.
Well, we had significant dollars associated with fire portables and radios. Do we need to put those on hold?
Yes, I've already spoken to the fire chief, let him know, and that might be coming.
Okay, so you're officially noticed to put those on hold. Sorry.
It probably won't be all of his once I take mine out.
No, but right now,
Right.
until we know, till we get the answer, put them on hold.
I will call and I guess try to do that because they've already been ordered through Motorola.
I know Motorola's a year and a half behind, so.
They're in the process.
Okay, and what about the AC at Mine Hill?
That we need to move forward on. It can either be a end-of-year purchase or we can keep it as is. It hasn't been complete yet. It was scheduled for the end of the month, I believe. It's coming up. But that's one we definitely have to do by next summer. It would either be through the ARPA funds and we'll use end-of-year funds later. I didn't count that in the money I'd be saving with the problems, the programs I'd be canceling on my end.
Okay,
And I can just kind of go over what I would be canceled on mine. real quick.
sure.
So the fencing around the tower, the landscaping around the tower, the tasers, the body worn cameras, and the employee recognition, the safety complex water filtration. The phone system, I'm canceling under ARPA, but we can still move forward on that. The shield, like I said, the body worn cameras and the tasers and the carport. And the carport we'll talk about in a second, because I'd be doing something different with that too. But those programs are about $100,000, just under the canceling one.
Okay. Any follow-up questions on this?
That would be sufficient funds to cover the,
No.
okay.
Yeah, we had paid about half on the towers, roughly. So, we're still waiting. I don't wanna put the final number out, just in case. I think there's some culpability on there, and we're gonna try to hold their feet to the fire a little bit. Especially when we've been, since April, asking for these costs to get them. There's been a lot of effort to account for these costs, and to throw them out here at this stage of the game, it's, there was a lot of profanity, let's just leave it at that.
When did you say we're gonna
Some of
find
it
out?
was mine.
Yeah, yeah, I poured,
When's that gonna happen, did you say?
so Two-Way, stated they're gonna have a meeting with their significant counterparts tomorrow morning, and Beth's gonna she's going through her invoices to see what's actually accounted for on our end, to see if it matches up.
I guess, not a question for the chief, but what has already been put out?
When I was going through the box, the only thing I think I actually saw a PO for was either the mulch or the sandbox materials. I think it was the mulch.
So I've put a PO out for tasers, body worn cameras, but I've already notified them to cancel. There's no problem with that. I've not notified the Shield, which was $3,000, but I won't have a problem canceling that either. Employee recognition, I'm pretty sure I can contact SIG and we can cancel that one because they're behind anyway. They're usually 6 to 9 months from the order. So we shouldn't have a problem with that. And the rest were all up for bid, so we hadn't taken action on them. So I shouldn't have any problem on mine and canceling all my stuff.
Okay.
All right, we can go to phone systems.
Sorry, I thought of one more thing. So I guess another question is probably a Beth question. So maybe this is really me asking Naomi to ask Beth. For the two park ones, and I'm not suggesting this is what we do, but I'd like to know if it's possible. If that money has been spent out of ARPA, is there any way we can go back and spend it out of the revolving fund?
Like a
Where-
journal entry-ish kind of transaction.
Yeah, how far is that money actually along? Again, I don't know if we need to or want to, but it'd be nice to know if we can.
You mean is it
And
out
I
of
guess the
their
picnic
special
tables too.
revenue?
Sorry?
You mean out of the special revenue?
The park revolving fund?
Then,
Oh, I guess, yeah,
or the
you're right.
revolving,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I guess the picnic tables as well is in that bucket.
Mhm.
Phone system? And this is,
Do we really even want to talk about it?
yeah, because actually I can probably do this, these were the RFPs we got in. You want to pass one of those around? But we did get 5 vendors to bid. One vendor submitted 2 bids, and the reason we can still talk about it is because we were paying for the initial equipment cost with ARPA funds. One of the bids that they submitted was to roll their equipment cost into the monthly cost. Well, even if that company's bid, even if we did that with that company's bid, we currently pay $413.73 for our internet and phone system. Their bid with maintaining Granite State Internet and going to their phone system still saves $76.31 a month. So we don't have to use ARPA funds. I can switch over to this new system and save $76. That's a decision I can make at my level. But since it's a bid process, I didn't know if I should do that or not. Since we put out the RFP. Now, in the RFP, it does say the town can decide whatever is best for the town. So we can still go through the bid process, and that would be my recommended bid. There was one other bid which came in with 0 equipment cost. However, the monthly rate would increase by $44.77 if we were to go with that bid. The rest had well, not necessarily significant. One had almost $1,500 of equipment costs, almost $2,100 equipment costs, and the other 2 were $10,400 and $12,200 worth of equipment costs. So, and that would have had to been paid for with ARPA funds, and since ARPA funds are now off the table, those we can't do those bids.
So they had to come out of ARPA?
Not necessarily. I mean,
So-
That was,
looking at-
that was
that's what
what,
we were paying.
that was
Yeah.
what we were doing.
I'm looking at the break even on this Crixendo.
Yep.
With an equipment cost of, I'll call it 2,100, price difference being about 56, it ends up being what, like 3.5, 4 years break even?
I
So
can do the math, huh? I can do the
I think
math
it's-
real quick.
I think it's 40 months. So I just wanted to call that out, that
Yep.
we could make that decision to say, hey, we'll spend that up front out of somewhere. That would come out of, what we'd be able to
I
return
would
this
have in
year.
my bottom line budget too.
Yeah, so it would come out of what we could return this year, but we would have a break even at, I think, about 3.5 years.
It'd take 37 and a half months, so.
Okay,
you're right,
a little bit 3.
to recoup that cost.
And the cost we're talking about is 2106?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
I could fund that 2106 out of my bottom line, and then, I just looked at the budgetary numbers for this year, and I've got a significant, savings in salary and benefits, of course, having a vacant position.
I guess before I go through this, do you know, on this one with the equipment cost, do they have like a different, is it leasing the equipment versus us buying it?
No, these are buying it outright.
Both of them are?
The one down bottom, the Crescendo. So the Crescendo, equipment just got rolled into the monthly cost,
So
but yes, we
would
still
just be
own
buying
it.
it but paying it over time?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a 36-month contract, is what they said,
Oh,
to recoup their cost. So actually, that comes out actually even. So if we did a 3-year contract after that, we were saving for 35 and a half months. So the second contract, we'd already own the
Yeah,
equipment, we could
and
go to a new contract at
not
that
pay that
lower.
equipment, yeah.
Right, so we can roll it in to that no equipment option. Good
And
point.
they're not gonna charge us any finance fees to do that?
I didn't see any in the, usually the last 2 pages are, I think he had 2 pages. One was for, he labeled it 2 different things. I can't remember what it was, but it was the last 2 pages of his packet.
Might be, so there's this like nice salesy packet that doesn't have any
Oh, all of them were very professional.
numbers.
Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
So it's this one, but I just didn't see.
There we go. Sorry, it wasn't at the end. Most of them were at the end. And what was I looking up?
Fee for rolling are they charging us any more for rolling the equipment in?
Side by side. I didn't have my glasses, so that's why I passed that off. I was seeing a whole bunch of blur. I got them just up here.
These don't quite line up. So you have the monthly cost as the total monthly cost on this top one,
Mm-hmm.
but then, this next one.
Oh, I did do that wrong, didn't I?
So it's 30,
Yep.
so it's,
Yeah, so this is gonna be cheaper to buy it outright.
yeah, by
A bunch.
a bunch. 30 times 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm off 30, so we're saving, yeah, exactly. You're on
$900
$1,000
Yeah.
doing the first option. Thank you.
Can I see? Thanks.
You're saying the monthly cost is $250? Is that?
That's the first one. This is the second one.
What was that new total?
Does that include the internet?
No, internet is, so internet would still be through Granite State. No one else offered internet.
No, down at It's almost
So 152.32 and,
Granite State, or Starlink, I suppose, at this point.
oh, so the
At two,
zero for equipment, yeah, 233.58.
Right.
233.58.
And is there any cancellation fee with your current provider?
No, we've had them forever.
Okay.
We do
You're not
have
under
a,
contract as far as a term?
we have one fee that would be continued. They have ownership of our primary and fax number, so we have to pay them a charge of $225 monthly per line. So it's $4.50, which I did include on there.
So I got a total of 367.08. So it's 46.65 savings.
What's the new
I got
monthly result?
818.73 savings if we went with the top option, total.
Yeah, I was going with the second option. The total monthly cost, 367.08,
And the next column?
and the monthly result is minus 46.65.
Sure.
So if I understand correctly, the summary is if we spend $2,106.63 out of this year's budget, we can save $1,000 over the course of 3 years versus the next cheapest option.
We would actually offset the phone cost. I'm about $2,000 over budget on my phone costs. So the more we can save, the more I can offset that cost for my budget presentation.
So your monthly cost now is over budget? That's what, your monthly
Yes,
cost
between-
currently is
we pay
over
for
budget?
the phone lines pay for the fax line, the cell phones, and all the landlines. Now, the landlines, we don't even do long distance. We try to minimize costs as much as we can because everybody's got an issued cell phone. And then we also have to pay for the computers in the cars. And so that all adds up. Because each one has a wireless network in it.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I think it would be, I'd accept a motion to award Crescendo a 3-year contract for monthly phone services under RFQ 04439628878. That has an upfront cost of $2,106.63, and that amount would be coming out of the police operating budget. And then a monthly payment base of $129.98, but adding fees on top of that, it would make it $152.32 per month, correct?
Well, when you add the fees with the internet, the total monthly cost would be $281.33.
Yeah, but just their phone
Oh, yeah,
portion.
gotcha.
Okay, all right. Anyone like to move that?
I'll move that.
Second?
Moved by Selectman Bloom, seconded by Selectman Drury. Any further discussion?
We don't need a specific line.
It's bottom line budget.
Usually you
I mean, I'll
gotta charge
assign-
a line number.
Yeah, I'll assign it to line 341, which is our telephone line.
Okay.
Sorry.
I understand it'll be made
Yep.
up from that, but usually
Do you want that added?
I think it should be.
Okay. Would you like to amend your, move to add line item 341?
Yes.
And James, you okay with that? Okay, so it's been amended and seconded to add line 341. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess just for those following along at home or in the audience, this represents a savings annually of $1,588 per year on the telephone costs over there. And I guess just to reiterate the decision we were trying to make, we will be spending $2,106 out of this year's budget, but we'll save $3,000 over the course of this 3-year contract. So spending now to hopefully, save the taxpayers $1,000 over that term.
If it's 1588 a year, over 3 years, it would be more than 3,000.
That's the savings is versus $559 a year,
Okay,
a $559 a year savings.
559, thank you. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes or yea?
Yes.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes 500. Okay.
Thank you. And the final is the
Do you want these
carport, which we were moving forward on, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's another potential savings to the budget. Obviously, we've already had DPW take up the asphalt and begin to level the parking lot. It's gonna take another $1,900 in paving, which I'm gonna get out of my own budget, so no more ARPA funds for that, and I'm gonna cancel the carport and everything else to do with it tomorrow. We do pay significant, and I'm just mentioning this now, we do pay significant monthly fees, as I've mentioned in previous meetings. At one point, we were doing $374 a month out of account 431, which is evidence recovery storage, because we need storage bays in case we get a vehicle. We can't park a vehicle in our Sally Port because if the vehicle's in there, we can no longer put someone in a secure area to bring them in through the booking room. We did go with another vendor and readjusted to about $2,000 a year in that. So we're saving between $4,500 and $2,000 a year. So this year, I would recommend we still move forward with this project once it comes time to do an end-of-year purchase, since there is a significant savings to the taxpayer to get us out of storage bays, because the carport would have a 12-foot wide storage bay that would be enclosed with lighting that we could use for evidence storage. So that's just on the table once we start to discuss those proposals. I'll let the company know that that's what I'll be proposing down the road. It's not approved yet, but hopefully they'll maintain the quote. I know the quote was only good for 30 days, and I'd previously given you some information regarding that quote, so hopefully the quote won't change.
Okay.
And we did get no other bids for that RFP. We got the 2 initial quotes that we located on ourselves by using internet-based sources to project costs. One of them was $70,000 and one of them was over $46,000. And the bid we were looking at was $21,006, so significant savings by going with this company. So I guess no further action needs to be taken on that one.
Okay.
And that's all I have, I do believe.
Okay. While you're here, we've got a big election coming up, so.
Yes.
One of my thoughts is that we probably ought to have some temporary parking in the school parking lot so people can get in and out as quick as possible.
Yep.
What
So-
would that take?
So I sent an email to our DPW director, Mr. Fisk, and inquired if we already had any signage. It would take posting the parking spots that the board would want designated for temporary parking, and we put 30 minutes or less on the signs. If we have the signs, great. If we don't, I asked him to get just a rough estimate of what it would cost to produce the signs. As long as he has the signs where we could post it, we could do a temporary parking ordinance, just like we do with the festival we hold here and the handicap spots. The board has the authority under RSA to designate what they want. You all regulate traffic, so.
Okay. All right.
I guess the idea being, there are people that are there all day, push them to the back.
Pushed him to the back, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you could ask them anyway to do that. Kind of hard to regulate that. Just people in and out. Okay, thanks for checking on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
That's it. Sorry for the bad news tonight, and we'll make adjustments as quick as we can and see where we're at. Quite disappointing.
Okay, keep us updated.
Will do.
I know you will. Thank you. All right. All right, before we move on to food pantry, I think we've discussed the ARPA funds. Wanted to do the hiring catch-up, if you will. I don't know what to call it. We discussed 2 meetings ago that in 2023 warrant article number 20, the town voted to dissolve the Board of Fire Wards and move the fire department in the direction of the Board of Selectmen. The warrant article specifically referenced New Hampshire RSA 154:1IB, which states that the governing body, not the fire chief, has responsibility for hiring decisions. Earlier this evening, this board met with an employee who is hired by the chief to ensure no liability to the town for those prior actions. This board is going to be asked to administratively reaffirm that hire. So anything else the board would want to add before we get into the details?
No.
Okay. I'll accept a motion to hire Trevor Anderson for the position of Assistant Chief at an hourly rate of $35.84 with the start date. He started on 9/30/2024 with the standard probationary period.
So moved.
Thank you. Moved by Selectman Knapp,
Second.
seconded by Selectman Pratt. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor say yes or yay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Motion passes 500. Welcome aboard again, Trevor. Okay. I think that moves us to the food pantry.
Interject. So the public comment, it sounded like there was more than one, so do we have more accounted for?
That was what Chief Rourke had talked about, I believe. Hang on, let me get back to that page.
Yep.
Which is one person on the call department. Belanger,
About what?
that we need to do the same thing for Belanger, but he's not here this evening.
Correct, he's not here, and I will get you on
I
that
guess
by
just-
the time that.
We said that publicly now.
No, okay, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, no,
And then you mentioned names of 3 others, but they haven't actually been hired yet, correct?
Correct, and if you
Okay.
want those, I could.
No, but they haven't been hired.
Yep, they're in the process.
There's
of-
only the one that we haven't talked to
they're
at this
in
point.
the process of going through
Okay.
their motions.
Great.
to get hired.
Thank you for clarifying that. Okay. All right,
Can I speak on the ARPA funds?
sure.
So I would just like to say about the ARPA funds, the police chief did meet with me, but I was not aware that the lines for our radios and portables was gonna be axed.
It's not axed, it's temporarily on hold until we understand what's going on with the radio tower
Okay,
cost.
I just wanted to just reiterate that how important that is, and that with that being done, I've already adjusted my whole CIP moving forward, because that came out of that and stuff like that.
Understand.
So Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
No, it is not axed,
Okay,
temporarily on hold.
temporary on hold. Okay,
Hopefully, it's just temporarily on
temporary.
hold.
We like temporary.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for your flexibility, and sorry to put you all through this, but there's no other option at this point that I can see.
Nope, understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before we move on to the food pantry, which I said a minute ago we were going to move on to, I did want to bring up Ethics Committee had asked us about the replacement for the empty seat. And I just wanted to ask the board if they've had a chance to look at that and whether or not they wanted to discuss that in a public session. Doing so would in fact waive legal privilege, so we can do it now, or we can have a non-public session at the end of this meeting, or discuss it some other time.
We got it today. I more than skimmed it, but didn't like deep dive into it because it was, after it started work today. So
Okay.
I could go either way.
Well, once we talk about it in a public session, that waives legal privilege, so I want to make sure that as we go through anything legal related, we're making that conscious decision, not unconscious decision. So I would say if not everyone's ready to have that discussion, then we table that till our next meeting.
I read through it, I'm happy with that, with that response, but I could wait to discuss
Okay.
it individually, privately.
Okay? All right, so now food pantry? All right.
You're gonna discuss it later, is that what you're doing, or are you gonna wait till the next meeting?
I think next meeting was later, right?
I just saw that we had a response, I didn't.
Yeah. No, they're not prepared, so
Okay.
next meeting.
Yep.
Last week, we confirmed that there's not a formal lease with the Ware Food Pantry, who is the occupant in the basement. Using the Sugar and Spice recent lease update as a starting point, I submitted a draft to you all on Thursday, 10/3, so just a reminder, this has not been looked at by legal, nor has the tenant been sent anything for their input, so I don't know if y'all have had a chance to take a look at that. If you have any,
I have a little bit on each page.
where did I put my copy? There it is. Okay.
I would propose maybe we go through each section. So rather, sometimes you go through the minutes, like everybody does their own thing, but, so under the description of the premises, the end of that,
I just wanted to point out in the first paragraph, the EIN number and the mailing address, that's different than what is on Sugar and Spice. Usually you look up nonprofits by their EIN number, so that's why I thought it might be good to have that. It is not on the Sugar and Spice.
is Sugar and Spice a nonprofit?
Yes,
Maybe we should add that next time.
yep.
Okay. So, at the end of the first line of the description of the premises, well, I guess we'll just read it. It's like a Dr. Seuss here. Lessor leases to lessee, and lessee leases from lessor, and then this is, I think, a little awkward, that a part. I think it maybe should just be a part. And then additionally, it describes it as being a room in the lowest level of that building with an approximate square footage. And I was wondering if in addition to that, do we have room numbers for the building? If nothing else, could we at least put like a cardinal, like it's the north side of the building, whatever.
Okay.
But ideally have like, do we have room numbers? Okay. Like it used to be a school, right?
That was the gym down there, yeah.
Yeah, the old gym then.
It's not the complete old gym, so it's only a part of the old gym.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So add coordinates or some,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
that's all I have until that.
So this is different than sugar and spice, so I did put in there that, that they have the separate door at the rear of the building, and we pay for electricity. And one exterior sign. So all that is different than sugar and spice.
Okay. That's another one. I think, like, especially the exterior sign, I think that's another one maybe worth revisiting to add something similar back into the sugar and spice one.
And then I didn't know if we wanted 3 years, so I left that blank. I didn't want to assume 3. I don't see why not 3, but I didn't want to assume anything. And that was under the section of term. Under rent, I didn't know what we wanted in there. It was suggested $1 like sugar and spice, but I didn't want to assume that either.
No, it wasn't,
Stone
there.
Valley.
Theirs was
sugar and-
$12.50 a year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the historical society's $1,
And
yeah.
so- yeah, okay, that was it. $1 was for something, not sugar and spice.
My only remark under rent was, should we specify when it's due?
Okay. Any thoughts on the rent amount? Or we're still on that one?
Like $1, just to,
Yeah, you have to have some kind of nominal exchange, yeah, so it needs to be something, but can't be nothing.
Like, does that space have any other value to the town for the next 3 years?
Storage,
Yeah, but are we really,
we're not using it for anything at this point. We didn't clean anything out really to put it in there, did we?
Well, land use got moved out of there. The land use department used to be in the basement.
Okay, but they're up here now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Server room is down there. Town clerk has all her storage is down there. There's 2 closets. One has, plans in it, and one has, old ZBA stuff in it. So the town's using probably half of the building, because the middle of the room is taken up with the, server room.
Okay.
There's enough room over the next 3 years that they're not gonna spill out and need the room?
Who?
Any of the documents that are being stored down there now, there's no chance of filling it? Or is there?
Hard to say what's gonna happen in the next 3 years. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, if things slow down, they'll, documents and things.
If we kept up with the record of retention, we might not need additional space.
do they take in any money? Aside from, like, donations, I guess?
I don't know for certain, but I would assume that it's just donation based.
Right, that's my assumption as well.
Yeah. I don't know if they're recipient of any grants or anything like that, but, yeah, so I'm not sure they have a lot of cash to
Yeah.
throw around.
Yeah. I'm not looking for, like, I'm not,
what's our budget shortfall this year?
right, there you go, yeah, let's take it from the food
Yeah.
pantry, right,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm looking for, but, when we look at sugar and spice, that we could keep comparing to, that building has, and I guess we own the lot as well. So the building and the lot have a value, we are extracting some value from the people who are using it. They are able to because they are, in turn, charging for a service that they provide. That is not really the same analogy here. This is, as our understanding, donation-based. and then, you know, freely given to those who need it. So it's not, you know, it's not an enterprise going on down there. Yeah, given all that, I think $1's fine, yeah.
Concur?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Use of premises, I did change that first sentence. Just did a Google search on what do food pantries do and took that directly. Provide food assistance to local individuals and families in need. Everything else, I believe, is the same as Sugar and Spice. Utilities are different, because over there at Sugar and Spice, they pay for everything. Here, we pay for the electricity because there's no way to segregate out electricity for the building.
I need to go back to rent, because I
Oh,
do want to
sure.
make sure we specify when it's due.
Yeah,
I know it's only $1, but
yeah,
so you took a note?
yeah, when
Okay,
due,
okay,
question
okay.
mark. I mean, I think it would probably just be within 30 days after we sign the lease and annually on
Sure.
that date or
Okay,
something like
great.
that, but,
Works for me.
okay.
Then going back down to utilities, the very last line on the page, with loss of power nor will lessor, I think the words will not should be scratched there.
Thank you. This just is trying to cover the fact that, you know, yes, we pay for the electricity, and yes, we have a generator, but stuff still happens, and I don't believe they're covered under our insurance, as far as if they have any loss or spoilage of food.
So you cross that out?
Did I cross it out?
The less than what did you say?
Just the two words will not on that last line.
Yeah, with
Cross out.
loss of power, nor will lesser will not. That will not has been crossed out. The Wi-Fi, they're welcome to use the guest Wi-Fi, but we're not gonna guarantee any specific level of service. So, and just to be clear, even though we have these things here, we're not paying for their signs, their websites, that kind of stuff. Okay.
We are requesting documentation of their 501c3 status annually, or just at the time of the lease?
That's on page 3. Can we hold that till then?
Required documents.
Yep.
Doesn't Sugar and Spice give us an annual document now? Or they were supposed to?
They're supposed to, yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I believe, what we put in the new lease.
I know there's something in here about if they don't have that status, that's a default on the lease. Is that correct?
That's, yeah, can we hold that till we get to page 3?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Please.
I'm just scrolling, so I don't know what page I'm on.
You're not on, yeah, you're here. We're here.
All right.
That's over here. Responsibility for repairs, I think that's pretty standard. I don't remember changing anything there.
I think
Other than, I think I said notify the Board of Selectmen's office. That might be the same.
that should be pluralized though, Board of Selectmen,
Men,
and that shows up again on the next page.
okay. Improvements, Sugar and Spice was allowed to make improvements. I said they're not authorized to make any alterations because it's in the basement. It's not a autonomous space. And then I think the entry on premises is an entirely new paragraph, I believe.
Alterations as far as structural, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be improvements.
A couple of things with the quality of repairs. I think the second word, that "and" should be scratched. It says repairs and shall be performed.
Correct.
Likewise, at the very end of that first paragraph, it says "and monitoring." I think that should just be "and monitor the progress." The right to enter the premises, approve any repair, and monitor the progress.
Okay.
And then, this is subjective, but the next paragraph, all repairs on or in the leased premises that may be installed. Installed seemed like kind of an awkward word to me. And I scribbled down performed or completed, question mark.
Performed. You said performed and completed?
I was throwing out options. I think performed by itself would suffice.
So performed in place of installed?
Yep.
Thank you.
And you said the entry is a new section?
I know, I don't believe it is. I did say that, but I don't believe it is.
I was about to say, that would be another good one to add.
Yeah.
They're already not allowed to make improvements. Do we want to keep it, where it says any repairs and improvements shall be done in compliance?
That's a good point.
Yep.
Really, and similarly, a little bit below that, repairs, additions, and improvements.
I'll strike additions and improvements on that line. And 3 above, and improvements stricken. Okay. The insurance liability, didn't change anything. I don't know if that's the right amount for a food pantry or not, so that would be something we'd ask legal.
And that, because we went through that with Primex, right? And we asked them about the sugar and spice one,
Is it Primex?
so maybe just follow the same
Primex.
process
Yeah,
and make sure they understand the situation of
Yeah.
it's in the building.
yeah. Is that what you were gonna say, Naomi? Primex?
No, I still lost where you were gonna remove and improvements.
Under
Good.
quality of repairs, second paragraph, 4th line,
Yeah? 'Cause you-
word 3 and 4.
Okay, because you also have improvements down further. That's why I was trying to.
Yep, if you go down 3 more lines after that,
Mm-hmm.
commencement of repairs, strike additions and
Okay,
improvements.
that's why. Sorry.
Okay.
And it was Primex that you asked before.
Okay, all right. Good on page 2? So I would say the premise insurance is probably not applicable, but we should ask Primex. Because we already cover the building. Okay. No subleasing. And then required documents. So I heard a suggestion on an annual basis.
I think so.
And do I remember correctly that the old sugar and spice lease had a requirement to do like a financial document, and then we struck that?
Yeah,
Okay.
because they were never given it to us, and
And we had no need for it?
we had no need for
Yeah.
it, so. So I put in IRS nonprofit status and state of New Hampshire registration. Those would be things I would want to see. Don't believe both of those are in sugar and spice. I think only the one is.
This is another instance of selectmen that should be pluralized.
Thank you.
Well, you're asking if we should have both then?
Yeah.
I think it's another one that, when we go back to sugar and spice, we should add that in too. I think it seems reasonable.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah, and again, the hazard insurance, that's a Ask Primex, so I don't know that. And I didn't know what titles are in the Wayward Food Pantry, so I just left them as they were. So I don't know if they have president, vice president, all that stuff, so we can change those when we ask them what they have. Okay?
Thank you for putting that together.
Yeah, you're welcome. So ask Primex, and then after that, what do you want to do?
I think ask their representatives to come in and meet and greet and clarify the titles that you just said.
Do you want to send it to legal first?
That's a good idea. I had lumped that in with Primex, but yes.
Okay. Okay, so ask Primex, legal, once we get all that back, we can send it over to them and then have them come in for a meet and greet. Okay?
So,
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
You want me to make the changes, or will you?
I can do it real quick and send it to you,
Okay.
and then you can get it over to Primex. I think that brings us down to building inspector position. So we've had an open position for building inspector code enforcement since, I believe, June, possibly late June timeframe. Over the past few years, there's been some turnover in the building inspector position, and it was thought that a part-time status was one contributing factor to the turnover. Warrant article number 15 was placed on the 2024 ballot to turn the part-time building inspector into a full-time building inspector. And then we added in the code enforcement duties when that job was posted. To date, none of the candidates interviewed have been extended offers. In the meantime, what I'll refer to as the Garside team has been successfully filling in for us since late June. We met with them last week, and Bob is ready to move on. Steve, however, is willing to remain, but only in a part-time capacity as building inspector. So he's not interested in full-time work. So I think we need to discuss how we'd like to proceed. Do you want to try and go back to part-time? Do you want to, if so, how would code enforcement be covered? All that kind of good stuff.
I think we keep seeking a full-time, that's what the wishes of the town vote was. I know it hasn't been successful. I, for one, thought for sure that would fix the problem, and it hasn't, so I was definitely wrong. I told more than one person that's what we needed to get a building inspector. But, I mean, that was the vote, I don't think we can just say we're going
No,
back to part-time,
no.
but.
Given
I think
that,
we
if we went back to part-time, we would definitely have to do something with the 25 warrant article.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we certainly stick with the gentleman that's willing to help, since it's the only thing we got, but I'd like to still move forward with full-time mixed with the code enforcer. Keep trying, I guess, I don't know.
Has that been refreshed? Yeah, we refreshed that. Yeah.
I mean, we still have it. I mean, I have it right here. Same thing we've had, same dollar amount, full-time, code enforcement, building inspector. I can re-advertise it. I was waiting to see what your decision was this evening, because I have the job description that you talked about. the advertisement and then what we placed out before. But again, I was not, I mean, it can easily be refreshed because it's already there, but it has not been because I didn't know what your thoughts were till tonight.
Makes sense.
I agree, full-time position, I think, is what we need, and coupled with the
The
code
code.
enforcement.
Well, I concur that having a part-time help right now is definitely a blessing, but we still need to move forward with trying to find somebody full-time.
I think the two jobs combined, you know, in history has worked well, because some of them go side and side, you know, so. And it, you know, was a way to give somebody a couple bucks maybe to make a appetizing salary perhaps, so, versus splitting them up and having two lower payer salaries.
Right, plus you get somebody who can have benefits as well, so
Right, so.
that was part of the deal. Anybody else? Okay, so refresh the job posting and continue to seek full-time building and code enforcement, and continue with Steve in a part-time fill-in capacity as long as he's willing to do that,
Yeah, yeah.
until we hire somebody full-time.
I haven't heard a thing. Usually I do when things in that department don't go well.
No, it's
And I'm not a builder, I just have people
No, I think,
know
I
that.
think it's been going very well, from what I can tell. I'm certainly not, you know, a
No,
builder, you know,
right, me either.
but, like you said, we normally hear if things are not going well, and, I've interacted with them on a homeowner basis, and they were very responsive.
Oh, have
so,
you? Yeah, nice.
On that, just for clarification, you also had, as a vendor and an insurance binder, which Bob is going to cancel.
Okay.
So do you bring him on as an employee part-time? Or do you ask him to get insurance? Because that was discussed.
Okay.
Do we know the way he wants to go?
I mean, he's willing to help. I mean, he told you he would stay until whatever you wanted to do.
I guess I just missed the part. It's a very good valid point. Does he have a preference? Would he come on part-time, get his own insurance? Does he have a preference of it?
I would think he probably would, you know, if it were me and you
I'd
want me to
rather
do
ride
a
your
part-time
insurance.
job, but you want me to also get insurance, well, yeah, no. Just pay me,
No, I hear you.
I think we just gotta ask him.
yeah,
That, if he can do that, or if he wants to do that.
yeah.
So I can ask him, we don't meet again for 2 weeks. Am I making that judgment, or what do you want me to do?
That's fine with
Okay
me.
with that?
Yeah.
Well, he would just come back in 2 weeks, so we can hire him part-time, correct?
Yeah, but if he goes
If
and,
he wants to get the insurance and continue on
Oh.
as usual,
Yep.
that's okay.
Yeah,
But
if
if he
not-
wants to be an employee and not get the insurance, bring him back, but let him continue
Until
doing what
then.
he's doing to keep us afloat.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And we'd hire him on as a part-time temporarily. right?
temporary.
Yep.
Okay.
So the biggest question, I guess, is when is Bob polling?
I gotta see when he's pulling his insurance, yeah.
Okay.
It'll have to be a joint effort to see when it's happening.
I will say, just for anybody that's wondering, it might not think we need a full-time one. Bob was very enthusiastic, and when he saw how busy Ware was, it was too much, so we
Yeah,
could,
that's a good point.
we could fulfill a full-time person. This is a very energetic gentleman that said Ware was too much to do part-time, so.
Yeah, a lot, he said. It's actually a lot.
If you talk to the man, it takes a lot to be a lot for him. Very ambitious.
Yeah, he also fits a lot of other stuff in.
He does lots of
So-
other things.
This becomes a bump in the
He
road.
thought it'd be no problem in the beginning. He's like, well, you guys do a lot in this town, so.
Bless you. Okay. All right, in the case, there was an intent to cut number 24-47109-T for tax map 202026. Just letting everybody know that was on the agenda so we can sign that. We've also been asked to sign by the town clerk the warrant for November 5th. I believe we all signed that, so I'm gonna pass that down. There's 2 copies. And while you're doing that, T.A. Bolton had asked about the invoice for Cordell Johnston legal work. Yes, Drummond Woodson did tell us they might have to refer out items if there were conflicts of interest, so, yeah. I thought it was in the engagement letter, but I might have just thought it should be in the engagement letter and read through it, so. There was also a letter that came in, speaking of legal, from our prior representation who said that they didn't want to keep the EES and the Eversource. So we need to discuss what we want to do with that. Do we want to ask Drummond to take it on even though they've already told us they have conflicts, so we know they'll have to refer it out?
What do you do with that?
I think that's pretty much our only option.
Is,
I'd say we go with that and let them contract it out.
Yeah. Is it too late to switch experts? I think they said it was, but.
Yeah, I think it is. We can certainly ask, but I do think it's
I think
way
so too,
into
I just
this,
wanted
yeah.
to,
I mean,
you know,
there's a,
float the question.
yeah.
I don't know if I signed the right spot, or not, it's only spot with 5 lines, so I was assuming.
Do you want me to, who's the contact on, there was a request of, let me know who the contact is so that they'll coordinate the file transfer.
Yep, so if we could ask Drummond Woodson if they'll take them, even though we know that they're gonna have to refer them out. And the follow-up question would be, is it too late to change on the Eversource to a different expert? To be consistent with the one that they're using at Drummond.
While you're signing, I have 2 new cemetery deeds and 1 you saw last week. And the reason you're seeing it again is because a person bought 2 lots, and I changed one part of the number, not both, so I have a new one here. So there's 3 in total to be signed. And this, Cordell, you're okay with? Gotcha. Talk about this another time. I do, it's part of, I'm sorry, am I jumping ahead? Yeah, I am.
Just give them a second. That way we can pay attention.
It's not my turn yet, anyway.
All right.
You have a manifest and stuff.
Okay.
Is it worth making a spot in the box for these?
Say it again?
Is it worth making a spot in the box for these?
They're far and few between.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a run on them. Don't know. We certainly can put a folder in there.
I'm just, yeah, like, I know most of the time, most meetings it doesn't happen, but when it does, you know, like
Yeah.
right now, it kind of chops up
Yeah.
what we're doing. It'd be a huge improvement, just killing time, I guess.
Get you a drink of water.
Yeah. Well, I gotta review some minutes. I left my, my notes at home.
Okay. All right. So I think that takes us to the manifests. So I'd like to make a motion to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated October 10th, 2024, as included in the following manifests. Payroll, $86,228.37. Accounts payable, $94,312.27. John Stark accounts payable, $250,000. Ware School accounts payable, $250,000, for a total of $680,540.64. And as there is no selectmen's meeting scheduled for next Monday, October 14th, to additionally order the treasurer to sign payroll checks dated October 17th, estimated to be approximately $95,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $90,000 for accounts payables that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and actual check amounts will be reported to the Board of Selectmen by inclusion in the manifest minutes, the manifest memo at the next scheduled meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Selectman Pratt. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes or yay.
Yes.
Yes. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, motion passes 500. Okay. I didn't see minutes from the 9th of October yet, 9th of September yet. Did I miss them?
No.
Okay. All right. And then we said last time we were gonna look at 23 and 24 together, and there's nothing for 30. So I don't think we have anything to approve tonight. And just a reminder that, we're supposed to get these out within 5 days, so we get better, then it lapses.
We'll have to just see what's going on.
Okay. And we also agreed we weren't gonna be providing transcripts, so more than just a little bit, but definitely not transcripts, so. You'll see what's going on there and let us know, I'd appreciate it. Okay, administrators report, or?
Is there a video available for the 9th? I know people complained that one was choppy.
I think that was the one that was the two pieces. It's there, but it's in two segments, I think.
On the 23rd, and there's one of them that I can't, we don't have anything big enough that I can, because when it was choppy, I can go in and download it on a external hard drive and take it over and put it on YouTube. But I don't have anything big enough in this building that would take the 5-hour meeting and put it, so I can come over and put it on my desktop to put it on YouTube so it's clear. And I don't know how to divide it up in two. I don't know how to do that.
Can maybe the IT guys help you with that?
Well, I just didn't know if Andy might be able to, because it's, if you go into the room, you go over to the old system and you plug it all in, and then you download it from the MPEG file. But I don't know how you can stop it when it's a complete 5.5 hours. I don't know how I can make a break in it to put up a part A, part B, part 1, part 2. And I don't know how, whether you stop it and start it again, I don't know how to do it in 2 files, I don't.
Yeah.
Because it's really on one, the old computer, because you literally take it, and then I take it in the other room and plug it in mine, and I upload it to YouTube. It takes a while, because it's a big file. But I don't know how they can cut it in 2.
But if you had a thumb drive big enough, it'd be okay.
No, he's even given me one of those, it's like looks like an external hard
Yeah.
drive. Still won't do it. I've cleaned everything off it.
That's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
can-
That's what I,
You can figure something out. I know enough about video editing, I
Yeah.
can help split it up. It's just a question of grabbing it.
yeah, I mean, anything I have at my fingertips doesn't fit to
Okay.
put it on there.
You want to help?
I can do that.
Thank you.
I can come in sometime.
Because that one was the choppy one that I had to start a couple of times on the 23rd. I don't know why.
Okay.
Because I think we left Jason at this thing, and Salem and him were talking about the trash thing up there.
Yeah, that was the 23rd.
Yeah. So yeah, if we can connect, I can show you what I'm struggling with.
Okay. Thank you, James.
All right, what the plan was from last meeting is, on this Wednesday, 3 of us are going to review the applications, and next Wednesday, interview the candidates to bring you one successful candidate on the 21st. So that's on my 21st agenda.
Okay.
I see that the Ethics Committee, we already answered that question. We're gonna do that on the 21st. You already answered the third-party legal. I do have a form here. I informed the gentleman from DOT that we had voted not to put the crosswalk in. He sent me an email and said, thank you, if you could just check the eliminate box and sign and email the form back to me, and I'll take care of it. So I had no authorization from the board, therefore.
Yeah, we didn't know there was a form to sign, so
Yeah.
sorry.
So therefore, there is a form for the board to sign. So on the very bottom, it talks about sign, printed name, title, and over here, there's a box to eliminate. So, that's all I need to do. I can scan it and send it back to Mike, and he'll take care of the rest on that one.
Okay, so this only has one signature spot, so
So it
we'll need a
didn't
motion
authorize
to.
me or you,
Yeah,
so.
we'll need a motion to either have myself or Tia Bolton sign this. It is State of New Hampshire, Department of Transportation, Bureau of Traffic, acceptance of crosswalk maintenance responsibilities, and it says eliminate. Initial
See
cross.
that 2024 as well. Okay, well, and since you're holding it, I'm gonna make a motion that you sign it. So move that we authorize the chair to sign this New Hampshire DOT crosswalk elimination form, project number 16165M, which was on 114 south of Flanders, as described here.
Second?
Okay. Moved by Selectman Bloom, seconded by Selectman Drury. Any further discussion? All in favor, say yes or yay.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed?
I always say, no, you gotta sign it, and that's fine. I voted no on the first motion, so I'm just gonna say no this time.
Okay, all right, so 3 approve yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstain. 3, 1, 1.
Thank you. Building inspector, we talked about, deeds you talked about. CIP, we're supposed to start this week. Is there anything for 2025 that the selectmen want to present to CIP? The only thing I would think we would think about, now that we have a handyman, is that we might want to think about an article to put some funds into the general maintenance for the buildings. As we know, I guess if there's no projects per se, you guys have control over the email, the warrant articles, so if you wanted to, we'll have to come up with some, I mean, Tim can give us a list of things that we have to do, and then we could come up with that dollar amount, but as far as specific projects, I just think we have to think about that, because the fund does get depleted working on the buildings, so.
So that'd go on the building.
It would go on the warrant article to put some money into it, but as you know,
Right.
you have to have some projects. So I could get Tim to look at projects, and then we could go from there. When it comes time to put the dollar amount on the warrant article together, we would have a list of what we're gonna do.
Well, there'd be a lot of small projects that wouldn't necessarily,
Right, but I
have
think
numbers
it
for
would be a sum of money that you'd put into the pre-existing account.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just don't know, is there any other things that's the only thing I could think of.
Wasn't there a list of projects that I heard?
What's that?
I thought I heard the Board of Selectmen talking about a list of projects in the past. Is that
In the
all
town
been-
hall.
In the town hall.
Yeah, that's over there. That list was way, way back. No one's sitting here that was on that original
Yeah.
tour.
We've also talked about the scale, maybe being a warrant article.
Yeah,
but
well,
I
so
don't know
this
that
is yours,
CIP.
because they're gonna,
Yeah.
each department head is gonna go to CIP on 10/10, but I didn't know if we had a project that I'm not thinking about. No?
I
Okay.
can't think of anything.
All right.
Well, no, I don't know. I definitely think we ought to vote, you know, somewhat of a conscious vote, but put some money in the building, in the maintenance fund, because,
Yeah, but that can be done at your level. I'm thinking of a project that you're gonna wanna let CIP
Like
know about.
6 to 10 years,
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, like, the chief's going for the cruiser, the other chief's going for the engine.
we still gotta vote, to put money in that maintenance fund, right?
Yeah, but that's
That's not a CIP.
that's when you get to the warrant articles and
Right.
create the warrant,
Right.
so.
Just specific CIP, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I mean,
can't
do you have a
think of any.
suggestion? Because I don't.
No, I said the only thing that I could think of was when it comes time for us is, now we have Tim, is to come up with a comprehensive list of what we need to do.
Yep,
You know, we've done a lot, but at the same time.
yep.
I didn't know if there was something that somebody had in the back of their mind of what they wanted. Several, probably months ago now, I think I mentioned it at one of the meetings, and one of the officers approached me because there was a concern when an employee came back from training that other communities do active shooter training. One of our PDs is certified in that, and he would be happy to do the active training for us here in the building. The only thing is, he's gonna ask that we close the office, and he asked on what day would be the best that everybody's here. There isn't a day that everybody's here. So the date that we selected together is a Tuesday, because I figured I could inconvenience myself more than my staff. I would make it work. So we had tentatively scheduled, with your permission, 11/19 from 2:30 to 5, but we'd have to close from 2:30 to 5. It's a Tuesday, but I would advertise way in advance, and we could put it out on whatever networks we can. Maureen can put it on the registrations, we can do whatever, if you feel that's all right for us to do, because everybody's here until 5, so I just.
Would everybody in the building participate?
Everybody in the building would participate. I guess if you wanted to sit in, you could too. I don't know,
I've done a training in the past. I would be willing to
Yeah.
sit through another one. Or
because it could happen at night,
Right.
right? All right, I just, yeah, go ahead.
The only potential thing I think worth looking at, what day is the election?
the 5th,
11/5.
And so I know,
there's 2 weeks usually after that.
right,
for-
and
for
that is exactly
recounts and
2 weeks after.
contests.
Oh, okay.
So,
We could pick a different,
yeah, I was just saying,
Right.
I think you're running into Thanksgiving after that, though, so.
but Thanksgiving's 28th this year,
Oh, it is?
so there is
How's
one
the whole
more.
week late?
It's the fourth Thursday.
I always thought it was the third for
Yeah.
some reason.
No, it's the fourth Thursday. So we could look at the next Tuesday being, it is closer at that point, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know at this point if anybody's taking vacation? Because that is 2 days before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some people that did take a couple days, so I'd have to look at the calendar, we might have to go into December. But if I can select a date that we could get advertised and I could just let you know, it would just be 2.5 hours, but it would be on a Tuesday, just because everybody's here Tuesday except for me, and I'll just come down. It's not a big deal. So I'll just select another day.
The CIP, would you guys be interested in at least having Jason measure and getting a quote on paving the parking lots? It's getting worse and worse and worse, the puddle out front and the,
You want me to ask?
well, I don't know, I mean, if anybody else is, it's getting worse and worse, especially out front, but.
I know he
paving,
did a big patch job a month or two ago
Yeah,
there.
the coal patch, it's going
Yeah,
already.
it is, okay.
But I could ask him for a number for you guys anyway, right?
I'd measured the back lot a few years ago, cause it's been dug up and gets rough in the winter, but this front's getting worse and worse, I don't.
When you
find-
enter the driveway?
Yeah, so just pave the whole thing, cause your manholes and covers for the shut-offs and stuff are all starting kinda getting cockeyed, and the catch basins could probably be fixed up, and
Like, you're talking just the front or front and back? The
I would do
little road
front and
down
back,
here?
I think I'd do, if they're gonna come pave it, might as well pave it, make it all fresh.
Would you go all the way down to 114? What's this road
I
called?
think I've
High
drove that
Street, I
twice
think.
all summer, I don't know how bad it is.
Yeah,
Yep,
because when you get out here, sometimes it's a huge.
That is bad,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a huge dip.
make it better to plow and look nice, and
Yeah.
could get
I
a
can ask you.
tonnage, I mean, he knows how to measure it, I could help measure it and help him, but I'm sure he can do it on his own.
I can ask him, sure. Article 24 and 26, that's not a simple task to start from ground up, because there's like 30 emails that went back and forth and additional information that was sent almost with every email. Because if you remember, we had some information that we got from conservation, so we added, and then we asked more questions, and then we added more information, and we asked more questions. So I'm trying to keep the answer that we got from the email, so it's, there's a lot of information. So I haven't done it yet, I wanna finish it this week, so I haven't done it that far. The other thing I wanna know is, we talked about the Chase Park lease, is that something you wanna do now, or do we wanna wait on that opinion?
I think we decided, at least we discussed.
Yeah, it
when we were
wasn't on your notes,
upstairs.
that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, that, wait until they ask, they being Park.
Yeah, all right. That's what I
Is that what we
thought.
said?
Yeah, and I think make
Because
sure.
we're not impinging on, like, deadline time.
Right. And, yeah, and make sure that, I mean, they know, we've talked about it for at least a year, that they know it's an option to like go talk to legal counsel about Chase Park lease. And what options does the town have, if any, in securing that beyond the lease?
So I'll just wait until it's asked. I know we pulled out the folder that night and there's all sorts of things, but I didn't have any in my instructions from the year notes to do that. I just wanted to make sure I didn't.
No, appreciate you checking.
I did in the next block, just because I had it in a different handout, so you gotta take 2 handouts, but I did make a slight change because I did not have Park and Rec and I did not have the library. So what we set out for is, the 28th, I added the Park and Rec to the 25th. I think I moved Jason to the 18th. And then, I added the library to the 2nd, along with Beth. So I made few changes from the last one that I sent you.
Okay.
Then other important dates, just to let you know that obviously we're not meeting Monday, with Columbus Day, Veterans Day, the whole entire building is closed, that's a Monday. And then the 2 dates, if you put on your 25 calendar, if you have such a thing, is a public hearing on 1/27. Actually, I think that's 1/20. 1/20, because it's Civil Rights Day and we're open that day. And then 2/1 will be deliberative session. We talked about last week when Conservation was here, I did find the alteration of terrain permit, and there's an amended request form. And what you do is with the amended request form, and you know what, I don't think I forwarded this to you, right? All right, so let's not talk about this till 21st, only because I have the gentleman's email, and it might make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
So I'll just do that on AOT. There's just a section to transfer ownership of the permit. You don't have to do a whole,
Yeah.
it's section 7.
It would be nice to also know if DPW plans on actually doing anything.
Yeah,
with
so
that.
we're gonna have to file a
Right, I know we
report
gotta
afterwards.
do
right.
the,
Once we
paperwork,
transfer
but-
our name, we're gonna have to do a report.
Right.
So,
but does DPW plan on actually doing anything?
I could talk to Jay. We can have, and that's why another reason I really should do it on the 21st. Sorry, I thought I sent it to you.
I hope so, because there's plenty of material, and I probably am the only one, know there's another esker of sand/gravel behind that one. So I'm the one that dug the test pits just before the town bought that off Schmidt. So I went out with Ray Banks Senior and dug test pits. So there's plenty of material left.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that documents. He hasn't been in for the cemetery ones.
Okay. Then just to clarify, the important dates, you said the public hearing on the
Yeah,
2025 budget is 120,
I
not
think it's 120,
127.
not 127. Let me just grab a calendar. 27. Yeah, it's the 20th.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have today requested email addresses, town email addresses for planning board, zoning, energy, and the one new park member, so those will be coming forth, soon.
And just to remind everybody that we're still looking for volunteers for a lot of these things, and I particularly would really like to get off zoning, so come help me out.
Can I make your night?
What's that?
Can I make your night? There was no applications today for November.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
So Mildred Hall, I sent you guys 16 pages that all lumped in one file, but that was kind of the will, how we established where we're established. And it did point out in one section, when you read it, that you guys do appoint the successors.
okay. But I also got the impression that you were still trying to
I-
go
to figure out-
chronologically try and find out
Yeah, I had to go back through
appointments
the
were and
minutes
when
to
they were.
figure out those 6, and then when those 6 left, who the next one was and who the next one was.
Okay.
So, it's still being worked on, but I at least wanted to share you what, bless you, what I found. Down below, I did send you, I think, September and October, because September ran into part of the month, and then October, I got that. And then I did see Janice sent all of us the CCA for discussion on the 21st. Engineering for lawn on the engineering for services is due on 10/21. The fire, we got an answer for, evidently this evening, on the lawn care.
Yes, I guess the board just needs to decide if they want to go and do that, move the cistern maintenance, lawn maintenance around the cisterns over to the fire department and remove it out of the RFP for lawn care.
We'll give it a chance 1 year, I guess.
You can always put out to bid the next year if
Right.
it doesn't work.
I, had a couple of same concerns Dave did, but, I mean, they're confident, I guess give it a shot, see, they had a couple valid points, they might take a can of red paint and spruce them up while they're mowing them and stuff, cause that, been years, so. Maybe a little more than the lawn mowing would go along with it if they were the ones doing it, so.
Good?
All right, and then the other thing is.
So we have decided to move it over to fire.
Yeah.
Give it a
But
try.
on the municipal cemeteries and municipal, I'm gonna have to rewatch your meeting to capture what you guys talked about. 'Cause-
Yeah.
So and that's why I put on a date of 10/21, unless someone
Okay.
has it written on your own notes.
I might.
Okay. I figured we could at least finalize, because I could go back and listen to what I missed.
Okay. I'll check for notes.
The traffic ordinance, I think, am I supposed to ship that to the new council?
That's so.
Yeah, I don't think it got sent to Mitchell, correct?
No.
Yeah, so it would go to new council.
Okay,
So it's not waiting on legal, needs to be sent to legal.
To be
Is
sent.
that correct?
Yep.
Send.
The RFP, I was still waiting, I was monitoring. I know Andy was trying to see if there's a quorum even for Wednesday night, and there's not at the moment, so I'll wait and see if we post for a meeting or not. I think the rest, I didn't get a chance to call the owner at Sewell Hoyt. I still have heard nothing from the generator noise, no email reply. I can follow up one more if you think it's necessary, but
Nothing from the resident.
I did to the resident, and
Yeah,
there's
I
been
know, but
nothing,
nothing
yeah,
back.
nothing. Cable, I do have to talk to Andy anyway, so, I don't have anything. Jason did send out the PBN, he's waiting on a reply. The cemetery tree work along the property, was he to put that back out?
I think we had already marked them.
Yeah, I need to go with somebody to remark the trees that we want to get quotes on.
Okay, somebody like Jason, somebody?
Yeah, I don't know who,
Okay.
so,
Well,
that's-
Different
Yeah.
color ribbon.
yeah, different color ribbon. So we did the walk on the 12th
Yep.
of September, and then at the next board meeting on the 16th,
Yep,
we had discussed what we wanted to do, and I'd sent you an email on the 17th. So I just need to know,
do you want me to coordinate
Yeah.
with Jason with you?
yeah,
And you two can?
yeah, I can go down there and show them the trees that, okay,
Yeah.
not all these, just these, and then we
Is
can
there
put it out for
Is there
bid.
ribbon to be removed off the not all these?
Yeah,
Okay.
pile 'em.
A
And are
lot.
we still gonna just get quotes and see what it is? For some reason, it's a ton of money, entertain doing all of them a different way, or no?
What we had asked for were the 2 inside the fence on East Ware, 1 inside the fence on Pine Grove, and then outside the wall on Pine Grove, 1. Those would be the 4 that we said come down. And then a long buzzle trimming up the branches, and then there were also some overhang on the other side of the chain link fence.
There
Trim
wasn't
those up.
4 along where we first looked? A twin and then 2 singles,
Yeah, I thought it was 3. Well, we counted it as 3.
depending on what it was, right?
Yeah, one of those 2 was a multi-trunk.
Right, so I thought it was 3 if you're counting the multi of 1.
That's what I recall as well.
I've done 2.
I only remember two.
Yeah.
The one like almost all the way to the left.
Yeah.
If you're standing facing them all, over to the left. Oh, was there
Up
one
there was
kinda
one in the
near-
middle with, like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even
yeah.
feel safe standing under it.
Yeah, you walk through the poison ivy.
Yeah. And then that double.
Okay,
I thought there was 3
3?
stumps, 4 trunks.
Okay.
Just curious what the
Yep.
price of those would be separately. You know, some reason it came in 10 grand. Might be interested to see what someone would charge to just clear the whole thing.
Well, we decided, when we talked about it on the 16th, we weren't gonna go that way.
Okay.
We did also wanna know who owns the chain link fence. It's broken in multiple spots. Is it the towns or is it the adjacent property owner?
Okay.
And we wanted clarification on the cypre. Where does the quote-unquote inside the walls come from? Where's the documentation that says what you can and cannot use cypre money for?
Okay.
We decided that we wouldn't see what both ways would cost? I don't remember
Yep.
that.
Yeah, we did.
We had talked about it when we were out there, and then we came back here and said, nope, we're just gonna take down those trees.
Guess I missed that part.
You were here.
Probably was, but I missed that. I wouldn't agree to it, because that's foolish.
All right, so I'll get Jason to connect
Yeah.
with you to remark. And then you wanna know who owns the fence, you wanna
Yeah,
clarify?
and you have an email from the 17th, you don't need to write all that down.
Okay, well, some days.
Does that help?
I did miss something on page 1, I'm not gonna go through the rest of it, because I don't think I've changed. On page 1, I skipped over, only because I wrote too big about the Chase Park, but tax deeding, I sent you both answers today that was fairly lengthy, so I'd like to have that discussion maybe more on the 21st.
Okay.
I don't think I changed. Don't think. There's nothing, there's some duplicates, but there's nothing else on my list. Awareness items haven't changed. Unfortunately, now it's 3 pages instead of 2.
In that case, on those trees then, just for peace of mind, can we get a two-part quote?
A 2-part.
The 3 or 4, whatever they are, and then all the rest of it.
To clear the back of,
Yeah, well, the 3 or 4 back, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever we're calling it. A quote for those 3 trees, 4 trees, and then a quote for the rest. Just split in half.
Basically
I mean,
clear it out.
do it all the time, like I sent out a bid for mini splits the other day, and it with or without electrical, so you could see which one.
Because there are a total of what, 7? And you're saying you want, whatever the numbers are,
Those ones inside the fence over on
yeah.
Ray Junior's.
Just carve those 3/4
Right, separate
out of the
number.
bid,
Yeah,
and have one bid for those, one bid for the other individual trees.
right,
Yeah.
right.
no, bid.
No.
No, a bid for all 5 trees, and a bid for the 2 trees in the clear, is Buzzell Hill, right? Is that
East where?
east where? To clear east where by the fence.
That's not what he's asking.
I thought that's what.
So all the trees that are flagged, that we agreed on the trees to potentially take down. The ones along Buzzell Hill and in the cemetery, you know, that number, but what, those other 4, what additionally are those? What's it cost to take those 4 trees down, or 3 trees down, whatever it is? So if the total cost is 10 grand, is it 4 grand for these and 6 grand for these? Makes that 10 grand?
So you're not talking about clear cutting like?
No, just, I'm curious to know what those 3 or 4 trees are gonna cost by themselves. But it can still be one quote for the whole job. They should be able to break it in half. There's no reason they couldn't say, yeah, those are worth this much and these is worth that much.
Okay, so you just want it price by cemetery?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the only one on that side of the cemetery, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that makes it simple, yes.
Would it,
Easier way to explain it.
I mean, should you say the 2 cemeteries on the road?
Yeah.
You're doing that?
Yeah.
Because we're not 100% sure the stuff on the road where that's coming from, right? Till we get the answer, was right.
So when you go out with Jason, can you just let him know how you want it broken out, and he can rebid it?
Yep.
Okay. And then the only other thing I have is, I've put together somewhat of a tentative agenda for 10/21.
Sounds like we moved a lot of stuff down to that.
Well, a lot of it's discussion on our part, AOT, open the engineering bids, RCCA follow-up, tax data discussion, ethics committee legal opinion, and then you've got your other stuff. At the beginning, I started with a land use interview. It looks like a lot, but I think it's a lot of things that we just have to get done before you start right into budget season.
Oh, yeah. Before we do that, I want to ask about the second half tax bills. Those usually go out the first part of December, correct?
Well,
Roughly.
we're at the mercy of the state to
Right.
set the tax
Roughly.
rate. Last 2 years in a row, we've sent them out Thanksgiving to at Christmas. I'd like to think we could set the tax rate in the next week, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Okay. Can the hours of the tax collector be listed on those bills and only be when somebody's on the main floor? Because we do have people that come in here that cannot get up and down those stairs.
Okay.
If you want to look at RSA 4135, believe that they only have to be open 2 hours a month, so we shouldn't have a hard time finding
No,
some
it's-
hours in which
It is
somebody's on
very
this floor to
difficult
take.
because people come in here still Wednesday night and wanna pay their bill, and the clerk doesn't
And-
take it.
Yeah, well,
It's
maybe,
been on there for 7 to 5, ever since we've been 7 to 5.
maybe they could
But
have,
I'll just do 7 to
Yeah.
5 Monday through Thursday, because Friday they'd have to come upstairs, so.
or maybe
But I don't know
have
how
a
you
couple
get them
hours
to
on
read
Wednesday
it.
night. I
I
don't,
just don't know how you get them to read it.
well, at least we can tell them.
Yeah, for sure, I get you.
It's not gonna fix everything, but
Yeah.
at least,
No,
and there are people that cannot make it up those stairs.
Yeah.
I don't even like going up those stairs.
yeah, no, we'll change that, on the tax bills whenever we're ready.
Okay. And we did have Miss Belcourt, I believe is her name, sent an email providing some kudos to Steve at the transfer station, so I'm gonna recognize that correspondence.
Yeah, good job.
And did you get your question answered? about the ZBA?
My question?
Yeah. You wanted to know about when we were appointing the ZBA, was there any correspondence from the other boards?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I'm good.
I took
Okay.
it the wrong way,
No, I just want to make sure
sorry.
we
Drew
were
a blank
satisfied.
there for a minute. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Anybody else have anything for correspondence? Okay, next meeting agenda?
I can go down, it looks like this. I just have 6:30 non-public under B for land use, because the plan at the beginning to bring you somebody. 6:45 is called to order public, pledge allegiance, and I have public comment. I don't have anything at the moment for department heads, but we're gonna wanna talk about ARPA.
Yeah, Chief Moore's probably going to have some updates for us.
So I'm gonna put ARPA, PD.
If
And I
not,
have-
if he doesn't have updates, he needs to tell us what he does know.
Okay.
So should be here anyway.
Well, between Beth and him, we can get an answer.
Okay.
AOT permit, I'm gonna send that to you so we can talk about that. Open engineering bids, because they're due here. RCCA follow-up discussion, that was in your email today. Tax deeded properties, I forwarded to you, and we can have that discussion about what we wanna do. They both answered in red, and they both sent you some information attached. And then, discuss the ethics legal opinion, is that more of a non-public, or is that a public one? Or you just wanted time to review it and then talk about it?
Time to review it, and then if we need to go into non-public, we can do it at the end of the night.
And then I just have the rest. Manifest minutes, administrator's report, other business, correspondence, set the agenda for 10:28 and adjournment.
Okay. And it sounds like a lot to do.
Yeah, you wanna put something on the 28th, but the 28th, you have, Beth coming with the default budget, fuel prices, payroll and benefits. So we can put something on there. I think it's a lot, but I think, I'm thinking it's gonna be short discussions.
Okay.
But
All right.
I just wanted to kind of clean what we've been working on if we can before we wrap. Because you're gonna be every week listening for budgets.
How pressing was the tax deeding one?
It's up to you. You either put them out for auction or you can wait till spring and do it. So it's not that
And I
pressing.
guess what I'm thinking, I don't want to push it off if we don't have to, but if we're looking for something, I mean, that could even, if it
That's your
slides into
easiest one
budget
to
season, like,
move
it go into
because,
January when it's dead.
yeah, so that's, you can move that into January because you gotta give 90-day notice, so.
Yeah.
You could move it and then you would be ready to auction in the spring, so. I'll move this off. So we'll take this one off, excuse me. And as I said, I don't know what you get for engineering bids. What you get for engineering bids, I think Janice gave you all the information on the RCCA discussion, so that should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly quick discussion.
The
so-
AOT permitting, you'll have that ahead of time. So I think, we're pretty good, and then you'll have time to look at the legal opinion, so.
Okay. Anything else? We're ready to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn at 9:11 by Selectman Bloom,
Second?
seconded by Selectman Knapp. All in favor?
Aye, aye.
Yes.
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 Motion passes. 9:11.
Wow.